Alright YouTube, the garden just got rained on all night, so it's a good time to make an update. You can see putting in a new gate here. It's not quite finished yet. It's on its hinges, but it needs a latch on this side. It's not quite done yet. So it does swing open, so that works. I'm trying to level it out underneath. I'm doing that to keep like rabbits out mainly, because they're the main pest this year. That's why I took out the spinach. I said I'm not going to bother. I put in more corn and beans. You can see the cabbages are looking pretty good here. They're, it's just barely June and they're starting to get big. That one's kind of withered away. All the others are just fine. I put in more zucchini and cucumber actually back there. I took out some of the damaged crops, and the Swiss chard is fine. Brussels sprouts are actually doing fairly well. Some of those that I just planted, they're starting to come up now. And those are the ones from before. They got fertilized, so they'll start to shoot up. There are still a few beets here, but the reason I didn't care about pulling the rest of the beets out is I already have also a second planting. I got 4 rows of them here, and most of those look just fine. Along with the beans, it's difficult to kill them anyway. The chamomile is now in full bloom. And you can see there are hundreds and hundreds of flowers just from this little patch, and they're growing everywhere. I've got chamomile scattered around the entire garden, so everything there is doing well. And finally know what the Texas plant is, courtesy of one YouTube commenter. It's actually a sort of columbine, black barlow I believe it's called. So hopefully I can take those seeds and spread that around more, because I'd like to have a patch of those. Those look pretty cool, honestly. It's sort of a gothic plant. But here is where I put in 4 additional rows of corn and beans. It's right up against the date, like where if you put them in, they won't actually produce before our first frost, potentially. But they should be fine. And all the collards growing in the middle here, you can see, those are doing just fine. Nothing's attacked them for some reason. And actually, I was going to pull out the lettuce, but the little bits that I did plant before, they're starting to come up now too, so that will fill in. Got some broccoli plants coming up. They got fertilized. And you can see I fully weeded out the corn and beans back here, other than a few little stragglers as far as the weeds go. And I've left some Nicotiana in there because that won't hurt anything. But those all got fertilized as well, so that corn will be a foot tall in a couple days probably. It'll start looking pretty good. The peppers haven't quite sprouted yet over here, but they will be soon, so I'll have some pepper plants as well, sweet peppers. And I weeded out this again, so all the perennials are looking good. You can see all the lupin, the irises, and so forth. Some of the lilies are actually blossoming as well. This lupin plant's starting to blossom. This is nice and flush with plants. Got a few little open spots in the middle that I just sort of left there. It's almost a form of decoration to have a few open spots in the garden. And even since yesterday, the zucchini have exploded with growth. They're getting more and more leaves on them. Those will be fine, along with the spaghetti squash. Those are doing well. They look very slightly different. There's still some spinach growing in here, and new sprouts have come up, really. So there will be spinach. It's just not going to be as much as I perhaps wanted. It's all good. Thankfully, because it rained, we'll get more cucumbers coming up in the back here too. The little tomatoes are doing fine. They're still really small, but they'll start to grow very quickly during June and July. And then here, this is bare, because remember, I replanted that with cucumbers, but those 2 are doing fine. Don't need any more than 2 per trellis, really, honestly. 3 or 4 would be fine too. The morning glory did get attacked, but some of them, for some reason, didn't get eaten, so those will be all right. See another little cucumber plant there. Those got fertilized. They're in good soil anyway, so they'll be all right. You can see more chamomile. Can never get enough of that, I suppose. More morning glories. And then the little new peach tree is already starting to climb up, and I'm on red here as far as battery goes, so I'll probably cut this short before it stops recording altogether. You can see the little white irises, and also these ones as well are now growing also. So the garden's looking pretty good. Everything's nice and green. I've got some more weeding and fertilizing to do, but that's about all. Peace out.